Right now, there are almost 7,000 languages spoken on planet Earth. And within the likely lifetimes of the kids in this school, at least 2,500 of those languages will become extinct because they are spoken only by elders. There are many others that are in varying states of health, where there might be some kids who speak, but there might be smaller populations, or they're in a colonial space where they're not supported, in society or the government or whatever. I think most people understand, like when an animal species goes extinct, that it kind of endangers an ecosystem, right? It's like pulling blocks out of the Jenga tower, that game Jenga? And if you pull too many blocks out of the Jenga tower, the whole thing can go collapsing, and you get what we call in environmental work, trophic cascade. The whatever eats the whatever eats the whatever. You pull out too many whatevers and nobody has anything to eat. Not as many people are well aware that we're also playing Jenga with human bodies of knowledge and ways of knowing. And that's what's really at risk when you're looking at these languages that are more endangered. It's not just as simple as another pretty bird singing in the forest, and it would be nice to hear all the pretty birds because they're all pretty. We have some major problems in this world. If you look at the colonial toolbox for major languages, Chinese, English, Spanish, French, these languages are proliferating while a lot of others are declining or under a lot of stress. Colonization is about taking one language, one religion, one culture, using it to supplant others. It's been about erasure. That's really what residential boarding schools were, was a big erasure experiment. Colonial processes have often employed a lot of violence to do it. But of course, when you solve your problems with violence, you get a lot of other problems. Why would we think that all of the problems created by the colonial way of solving problems could be solved by the colonial way of solving problems? And they can't. And deeply embedded in indigenous bodies of knowledge and ways of knowing are some really different ways of looking at the world and solving problems. So I think we should be pollinating the garden everyone's trying to grow and harvest from. That'll be good for the whole world. And also, we should be okay to be in our own bodies, in our own skins, in our own cultural spaces, and that there is a value to doing that. And when it gets going at scale, it's pretty cool. So there are some groups within the United States, native groups, that are getting real on language revitalization. Ojibwe is one of them. Others include Hawaiian, Mohawk, Blackfeet, Navajo, and there are others too. And when it gets going, Cherokee is another one, it's pretty exciting. It can mobilize communities, it can contribute to health, sovereignty, so many different things. Sometimes it's hard for people to connect all the dots, but when it gets going, it is really something remarkable. And if you want me to take you a little deeper into like, what does that look like and what's happening, I'm happy to do that, because this is something I get all pumped up about. So you just let me know if you want me to give you a little more on the mechanics. We're at the point now in the Ojibwe space where we do have some immersion schools for little kids. And we've done something that hadn't happened since World War II, making fluent speakers out of little kids, so that's pretty exciting. It's not happening everywhere in equal measure, all at once, but it is happening in places. We are also starting to develop an adult immersion program. That's over at Fond du Lac, and that's been very successful with the folks who've been coming through that, kind of building them up to a higher level of fluency so they can then go work in some of the schools and programs. We're starting to get going with the Ojibwe teacher training space and different parts of the work. And lots of publications have been coming out, and some of those are really great. So I'm very hopeful